It's an interesting news day in the world of Magic the Gathering. We have just had the names of the two Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Commander decks leaked. And on top of that, seemingly out of nowhere, Zilortha has finally appeared.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The Magic Historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for another installment of Mega Magic News. We have a Kamigawa leak to talk about. We've got Zilortha finally appearing. Now, before we get into that, I just want to mention, as I have been lately, that we have the first installment of the Brothers War lore available over on my Fantasy Geographic channel. And it is the best Magic the Gathering storyline. So if you haven't checked it out, link at the end of the video on screen and down in the comment section. So let us turn to our Mega Magic News, starting out with obviously for what most people will find to be the juiciest tidbits, and that would be specifically the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Commander decks. Now, as tends to be the case specifically with like Commander deck leaks and things like that, this all boils down to an Amazon listing that was posted and now has poof disappeared like a ghost. I imagine things in some ways have to be pretty difficult for Wizards of the Coast in terms of like, they've got to try and get all this information out to all their different retailers, but at the same time, kind of keep it under wraps for us so that we don't know what's going on ahead of time. But then you're going to have some retailers who want to get ahead of the game and are like, you know what, let me just go ahead and post this for pre-order, we'll get it all ready and whatever. And then all of a sudden, people start flying and going, what's this? Looky-loo, and seeing the spoiler information, and then all of a sudden, listing gets pulled. So that's what's happened here, but the way the internet works is it doesn't matter. Once you've put it out there, we've got it. So we have the two names of the different Kamigawa Neon Dynasty decks. The first deck is named Buckle Up, which I feel like that applies to me specifically as somebody who went for a rough ride with Kaladesh. We might be in for quite a ride. So buckle up. Let's think about this logically. What kind of deck are we going to have? Well, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty is going to be set in the future. So I very much expect that we are going to have not Kamigawa. I mean, the original Kamigawa's ancient past. Kaladesh, they both start with the K and the A, right? So Kaladesh had cars, trains, helicopters, like more modern vehicles. And what I expect to see in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty is even further in the future. Like right now with Kaladesh, we had current level vehicles, but with Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, I'm expecting future level versions. So think like crazy future hover cars, maybe something along the lines of maybe they'll tap into Akira and we'll get one of those Kaneda bikes or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? That red bike that is like really iconic from the Akira series. But the series, what am I talking about? It's a movie. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing. Check it out. But that is what I'm expecting for this to be, basically, right? It's like, okay, we're going to have a bunch of futuristic vehicles. It's going to be a vehicle-themed commander deck, which, I don't know, maybe you guys can let me know. Are there a lot of people who like vehicle commander decks? I feel like Wizards has made more like vehicle-themed cards, but that overall, I never really see people playing it. You know, there's not a lot of people like, beep, beep, I'm a motorist. It just, I don't know. But so we've got the Buckle Up deck, which is most likely going to be a vehicle deck, right? And then the other deck we have is Upgrades Unleashed. And there is a number of different ways to view this concept. Clearly, the idea, at least from the outset, you know, without any more information, is most likely it's going to be about upgrading creatures, right? That tends to be where most upgrades happen in terms of like, the thing about upgrades unleashed is it could be something as simple as, hey, look, we give these creatures +1/+1 tokens, or we give them ability counters, things like that, right? All these sort of like boost up your creature bit by bit, incrementally sort of thing. But we do have another concept for upgrades that were shown to us through the mystery boosters of all things. So there is a playtest card that literally has the ability upgrade. So I'm going to put it up on the screen right now for you. Now, how this works basically is this is weaponized scrap. It has a casting cost of 4. It's an artifact construct. It is a 6/6 creature, and it has upgrade. This creature enters the battlefield covering another artifact you control. If it can't, exile it, ignore the artifact it's covering. Anywhere this card goes, any cards underneath it also go. It has haste. So, I mean, in some ways, it actually kind of feels like Ikoria Mutate, right? But with this weaponized scrap, you could theoretically just place this on a random artifact you already have out, and now all of a sudden, it's a gigantic artifact creature. And this does fall in line with the sort of things we've seen in Magic before, right? Like I mentioned the mutate concept, but what if they decided to take something like ninjutsu, where ninjutsu, how it currently works, is when you swing in with the creature, then if it doesn't get blocked, you can pay mana and put a ninja into play from your hand in place of a creature that was already there, right? So it's kind of like, surprise, I was actually a ninja all along, right? So you have that kind of a vibe. Maybe they're going to go a different route with it, where instead of, oh, look, this card's coming out in its place, now it's under these conditions, you can play this upgrade to upgrade the creature. I mean, that's just one possibility. Who knows? This is a playtest card specifically from the mystery stuff, and it was just kind of made to be a marketing gimmick. But at the same time, over time, we have seen things that were meant to be jokes make it into mainstream Magic. A lot of unabilities have made their way into regular Magic the Gathering. So the Upgrades Unleashed feels to me like it's more open-ended in terms of what it could be. The Buckle Up, I mean, what's it? Come on, dude. It's clearly going to be vehicles. The Upgrades Unleashed could be something like this. It could be some kind of new cybernetic concept. Maybe they're going to have a particular type of equipment that are considered upgrades, like Cyber Eye and all this other kind of stuff, right? It could be an enchantment set, kind of like the runes that we got in Call Time. There's a lot of room for exploration in this. So my imagination is fired up. Now, that covers the 2 commander decks. But as I said, Zilortha has finally appeared. Some of you may not even know what I'm talking about. So let me put Zilortha Strength Incarnate up on the screen for you. I am very pleased to see this card finally make its appearance. It is 1 green, 1 red, and 3 for a 7/3 legendary creature dinosaur. It has trample, and even better, it has a unique ability that only exists on this card that I like very much. And that is lethal damage dealt to creatures you control is determined by their power rather than their toughness. This is a really interesting concept. We've seen a number of cards in Magic that actually take the idea of, hey, you can use your toughness as your power, right? There are a number of those, starting with like, I think it was Doran probably who was the first one to do that. But either way, you can use your toughness as your powers. So do you have creatures with like huge toughness? Great. Now they're also super beat sticks. This takes it and switches it around completely, fundamentally changing the way things work, where now the damage that your creature takes is compared to its power instead of its toughness. So even though Zilortha is only a 7/3, only has 3 toughness, you actually have to be able to basically do 7 damage to it to destroy it, which is really cool. Like, I like the idea of a creature doing that. And considering we had a bunch that played with the other idea, turning the toughness into your power, I'm genuinely surprised we didn't see this earlier. So you'll notice that it's got the Ikoria expansion symbol, and that's because this is the Godzilla Buy-A-Box promo card, but done in non-Godzilla styling. So if you saw the original Buy-A-Box Godzilla promo card they gave out, it had the Godzilla name, but then below it said Zilortha Strength Incarnate. And that was that Godzilla card's official Magic card name. But we never actually got to see Zilortha or get the card himself. And now we finally have it available. And the artwork is awesome. You've got this huge towering beast. Like, this actually lives up to the name of Ikoria Lair of Behemoths. I feel like in Ikoria, there were too few of the giganto creatures to really make it feel like a lair of behemoths. But Zilortha really gives that vibe with the whole towering above the clouds. Like, look at the cloud line that is in the middle of the torso of this beast. And then look way down at the bottom, and you can actually see somebody riding a horse beside Zilortha to give it a sense of scale. So I'm happy that we have the non-Godzilla version surfacing. Now, as far as I understand, this is only currently available on Arena, and I suspect the reason that it has appeared without any fanfare is because Wizards of the Coast only had the rights to use the Godzilla licensing for X amount of time, because now when you go to buy a stack of Ikoria booster packs on Magic Arena, it offers you, instead of the Godzilla promo, it offers you Zilortha as your bonus card. So I think this totally just has to do with licensing, and their license for that has expired. I'm looking forward to seeing Zilortha actually printed in packs as well, so I can get one for my cube. Right now I'm just using the Godzilla, and I mean, I prefer to have a like an in Magic IP version of the card. But anyways, that covers all the Mega Magic news we had to talk about today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Big thank you to all of my patrons, and as I said, link to the lore video on the screen. See you next time!